Hello. Today, I thought we'd talk about creativity and something that I've been hearing a lot in terms of what it's been coming up with, and that is resistance. People are talking about how the two are related. So I know about this a little bit personally, because when I was 30, I started having these dreams that I was in an art class. And I was kind of perplexed because I had really never had any talent, don't have family that saved pictures from when I was a little girl, don't have a story about an art teacher who said you don't have any talent, because I just never did. It was an assumption. There was no question about it. And so when I started having these dreams, it was kind of perplexing. Like, why would I have these dreams? What point would it be in putting me in art classes when I have no talent at all? But I did venture out into the area, and a series of teachers began to say, you have a gift. And I was not able to absorb it. There was resistance there. It was so far from my perception of myself and what I thought was possible for myself that I couldn't actually take it in. And so, luckily, the dreams were interested in me doing this. So the dreams persisted over and over again. And then I saw a pattern of where I would quit art classes that I went to and worked through that resistance. And as I did, what happened was more of my gift could emerge. So that resistance was actually in service to my gift, because it was trying to keep me safe, and it was keeping me from fully accepting and acknowledging this part as a part of myself and as a talent, a gift that I had been given. So creativity right now is really playing an important role because we're evolving. And as we evolve, we need to see things differently. We need to do things differently. And so creativity is one of the ways that we can approach life that is about doing things differently and seeing things differently. Because what happens is we kind of get conditioned, especially in the West, with a mindset that prefers the literal, logical, rational. And so we tend to approach life from the intellect and from the mind, which is really basing things on the past. So from an ego standpoint, this that's happening right now is the same as that. And so this is the way to respond. So without even thinking, we can just slide right into these ways of living and acting that are just based on the past. So creative living is accessing something else. The intellect can't do it because it's looking backwards. So how do we access something else? We look at intuition and knowing as a way of opening to wisdom that is outside of time. It's not actually bound. So dreams are another thing that isn't bound by time. Dreams know the future. They know the past, and they know where you are. And so they guide you and help you to navigate through life and to see those habitual patterns, to see those ways that you may be responding that aren't serving you anymore. And so creativity is the other thing that I think is really beneficial to creativity, is that when you're in it, oftentimes it's something you love to do. And when you're in it, you're in that zone oftentimes. And that is something that is like no mind. It's the space. And when you're in that space and doing things like you love, like say creating art or making music or baking bread, gardening, woodworking, all of these things are often engage us to a level that we're not really thinking about it. We're just doing. And in that space that's opened up by that, you are receiving healing. The healing energy, higher consciousness comes through, right? You sometimes get intuitions when you're doing things like that. So if you feel stuck in some area, you can often engage in those types of activities in order to move forward, because they open up this space that allows new insights, right, to come through. So resistance often develops when we're young as a protection mechanism. It's something that wasn't perceived as safe, or it wasn't perceived as acceptable, or it wasn't the way we do things. And so there's this resistance. So in my family, the arts wouldn't be considered something that you could pursue other than as a pastime, a hobby. So having it as an integral part of my work is something that wouldn't be perceived as safe. And so the resistance came in to say, like, that's not safe. That's not a good place to go. And so that is protection. And in order to shift that protection, we just need to be with it, just to allow it and accept it. Sometimes you hear these metaphors or these ways of approaching it as though it's the enemy, and it isn't. It is just something that may be holding us back now and not serving us. So the way through is to open to it, acknowledge it, and allow it a little bit of space, and just feel it in the body. And when you feel it in your body, you can see, like, where is this showing up for me? Sometimes you might end up, shedding a few tears because of the fear that's keeping it there. But as you do that, the resistance lowers and it allows you to kind of move through it. And each time you do that, it reduces it more and more. So it's not like it's something you're going to always have to deal with necessarily, but it should diminish over time as you stay with it. So we approach it compassionately and with love, because it's not a bad thing. Life loves us. So remember, we're all in this together. So if you enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe. Thanks.